Okay, let's get started. Can you hear me okay? Good. Okay, so good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, everyone. I'm so delighted to invite you for this international virtual conference of Embodied Intelligence. So this is a second of this kind event, and we're so happy to have you back in this very exciting community of Embodied Intelligence. My name is Fumiya Iida. I'm a general chair of this conference, and I'd like to give you a brief introduction of this conference. Okay, so before we start, I just want to give you some practical information. So this conference is recorded, and at least the main part of the conference will be recorded, and we will publish this recording as soon as possible in embodiedintelligence.org website for the reasons that many people cannot join live because of the time difference and other reasons. So please do not record this conference on your local computers and redistribute this recording because I think we have a lot of issues of permissions and so on. But all the recording will be shared with the participants of this conference. So please follow this rule. And also, I'd like to let you know that we have started this Discord channel to continue discussions. And I think most of you have received this invitation to the Discord channel by email. If not, please just follow this link in this slide or use the QR code to join this Discord. This is a very useful interface to have a chat and a discussion with all the participants. And for the reasons of keep this event interactive, we're not making everyone muted. So it's your responsibility to keep muted, and we will ask the speakers only when we want you to speak. So please unmute when you speak, otherwise you keep you muted. And we have lots of technical problems last year, and we continue having some of the issues this year as well. So if you have any technical problems, questions, concerns, please just send us email at Barrel admin email address or post your questions in the Discord channel. Okay, and then program here. So we have a very exciting program today in the next 2.5 days. We have 100+ talks, and as of now, we have over 650 participants. Not all of them are live at the same time, but the registration number is quite substantial. So in the next 2.5 days, we have 2 types of sessions. So we have a main session. We're now currently in is the main room of this Zoom interface. But then we have another type of the event, which is the breakout session, which is shown in the blue boxes. So in this breakout sessions, we have a parallel breakout rooms, and you will be asked to join one of the breakout session rooms. Especially the speakers need to double check which room you are assigned in which time. And all of these schedules can be found in the Embodied Intelligence Workshop website. So please double check. And hopefully we have all the logistics sorted out. At the end of the event, on the third day, 25th, we also plan to have open-ended final discussions for those who want to continue with the discussions. Okay, and since we have a large number of participants, we need your cooperation for the self-organization of breakout rooms. Basically, we need to ask every participants to use this breakout room interface in the Zoom, and then you need to choose which room to join. And the speakers should go there in the designated rooms, otherwise you will miss the time. If you have any problems or questions or concerns, just please send us email or shout out in the Discord so that we can actually help you, guiding you to the right room in the right time. Okay, and well, there's always a challenge in the technical communication. So we are here to help you. So here's the face and names of the organizers. So I'm working with Josie Hughes from EPFL. She's another co-organizer of this event. And then we have Ryman and Arsen are also here to help with all technical challenges. Veronica and Greg are also helping us with the recording and Discord communication. And Hardy and Marva are helping with the podcast channels of this event. So if you have any questions, problems, just feel free to contact us, and we're here to help you all the time. Okay, very good. And then I just want to start with this conference, the technical contents of this conference, with the brief history of this community. So we have started this embodied AI community in almost 20 years ago, starting from 2003, Dachstuhl Castle in Germany, with about 50 participants. And every few year time, we have a similar event of embodied intelligence or AI or soft robotics in order to continue with this kind of exciting discussion of in this community. In the last year, 2021, we had the first virtual workshop, Embodied Intelligence, which was an incredible success with almost 100 speakers and 1,000 registrants who have actually enjoyed this conference very much. And that's the reason we decided to continue this event for this year. So we keep this virtual conference in order to lower the participation threshold for the younger students as well as established researchers. So the main idea is we want to have as many participants as possible and try to keep this as interactive as possible so that we can have a stimulating discussion in this community. So what is embodied intelligence? I think this is still a not very well defined term. But what we are thinking of embodied intelligence is basically the keywords connecting many different researchers with different backgrounds. So the main concept of this conference is trying to get the interdisciplinary researchers, not only from computer science, AI, and robotics, but also including other neighboring disciplines, including biology, neuroscience, material science, philosophy, and so on. We are also interested in understanding biological embodied intelligence or imitating embodied intelligence in nature. But also we had last year quite a few industry participants who are interested in more about applications of these ideas and the technology development to utilize this concept of embodied intelligence. So we haven't really decided this term embodied intelligence quite precisely, but the idea is that we want to really discuss what is this with many researchers from different disciplines. So just want to highlight the objective of this year Embodied Intelligence Conference, that the main motivation is really about discussing what embodied intelligence is from different viewpoints, and many people have different definitions or different ways of characterizing this concept. So we want to have all the different views together and see whether we can actually have a good common understanding of this concept. It's also important to discuss why embodied intelligence has to be discussed now, especially in the big progress in the research of artificial intelligence and computer science. I think it's increasingly more important to understand what embodied intelligence is, and that's something I'd like to have active discussion in this community. And obviously, we need to deliver the impacts of this discussion, and that's another goal of this embodied intelligence. In order to do this, it's very important to create and maintain this international and interdisciplinary community. And that's another important objective. So we have, I'm very much looking forward to meeting many of my old friends, as well as new friends. Welcome to this community. We also try to discuss what are going to be the next steps of collaborations. So we are planning to publish the proceedings, follow-up proceedings of this event after this event, which we're going to talk about in a few minutes. But also we should consider planning future workshops and conferences. But most importantly, this event should be fun, and I'm not going to keep this in the rigid format, but we want to rather keep it interactive and dynamic, so that everyone can have fun by joining this conference. Okay, so let me explain a little more about embodied intelligence from my point of view, at least. We have started this idea of embodied intelligence as the extension of the conventional or classical artificial intelligence. So the artificial intelligence, or in other words, it's also called the good old-fashioned AI, GoFi, is actually the concept started almost half century ago. That where is the origin of intelligence? And that time, people have thought of intelligence as computational processes. So lots of people in biology look at the brain as the main source of intelligence, or computer scientists thinking about the algorithm or program or information processing as the source of intelligence. The important point is that there are lots of interesting discussions in the information processing aspects of intelligence, but relatively less emphasis is put on the aspects of system environment interactions in the physical world. So sense and acting part, where the task environment is relatively limited in the conventional framework of artificial intelligence. And therefore, in the last 20, 30 years, we have been discussing, okay, what's the importance of embodiment? And the embodied intelligence is another paradigm we're trying to introduce here, that there's actually a lot of interesting and important things going on in between the information processing and the interaction with the physical task environment. And this is the kind of diagram we introduced in our review paper in 2007, that how can we understand embodiment in terms of physical actions through mechanical body dynamics, but also the sensing process should be mediated by embodiment. And there are lots of important, interesting things happening in this regime, and that's something we want to discuss in this community of embodiment and embodied intelligence research. So, when I talk about this embodied intelligence, I always try to give this example of a human embodiment. So this is a slide borrowed from John Garden's lecture, that one of the most exciting aspects of biology is the scalability of our embodiment. So our life starts from the single cell at the beginning of our life. But then this is grow in enormous scalability to an organism consisting of 10 to the 13 cells, and the size and complexity is very impressive, but also the diversity of the organism, the structure is also very interesting. In any case, our body has enormous complexity, diversity, but also it has this incredible dynamics that we change our body morphology all the time. And that aspect has to be really understood in order to discuss systematically about the concept of intelligence. And we have a lot of new knowledge in science that these are the examples that how brain and body grow together in the early stage of our life, and how the brain and body as coupled since the beginning of our life. All this process is growth process, and is important process in order to get our intelligent adaptive behavior happening in a very robust and scalable manner. So all this new knowledge from biology are helping us to gaining our additional insight into how the body should be constructed. And this is not only important for biologists and the neuroscientists, but also this is very important for roboticists, computer scientists, and psychology and philosophers. Okay, I just want, so this is the kind of, you know, the general direction of embodied intelligence research from my point of view, and this seems to be a good starting point of discussions. And this is a very brief recap from our discussions in the embodied intelligence workshop last year, 2021. So lots of discussion happened last year, but just to give you some flavor of our discussions, here's the bullet list of the points to remember. So the main discussion was actually about what is embodied intelligence. Many people have defined it in many different ways, but these are some points that the embodied intelligence can be understood as body shapes the brain process, the resources for consciousness, self-awareness, prediction, and adaptation, and so on. The embodied intelligence research is also about the study of a complex physical body. How we can increase the complexity of physical body is one of the real challenges. And this body embodiment should help generating emergent simple control mechanisms. Embodied intelligence should be something beyond deep learning, because deep learning seems to be too narrow at the moment. Embodied intelligence is also about the research about the source of generating unlimited or infinity variety of behavior patterns, or intrinsic motivation, self-evidence, and active inference, and sentience, and so on. Some other researchers talk about the embodiment as a bridge between deterministic, probabilistic modeling. Computational physical intelligence is the meeting point of the computational and physical intelligence is another important point. And finally, the social aspect has to be also included. The social interactions, imitation learning, or anthropomorphism of intelligence is actually a quite central concept in the embodied intelligence research. So these are some of the highlighted definitions of from our discussion last year. And at the same time, we discussed lots of open challenges, including theories of embodied intelligence. Quite some discussion we had in the area of free energy principles, but also we are discussing other types of theory. There are lots of discussion, especially among the neuroscientists, how to do the mental simulation and how to do the simulation reality gap. The reasons and the importance of the rest state brain dynamics, like the daydreaming, was one of another discussion point we had last year. From robotics point of view, a material level intelligence to achieve self-replication, healing or self-repair. All of these things are really the challenging problems. Among others, robotics is also interested in how we can make growing, developing, evolving robots. In general, physical interactions of soft robots are still unsolved problem, and these robots can only interact with the environment in a limited manner. So these are the kind of ideas that we had discussions last year, and we hope to continue with discussions and extend our understanding of these issues through in the next 2.5 days. I just want to also highlight you that we also did the proceedings project after the EI 2021. And quite many participants last year have contributed these chapters in these proceedings. And we're actually at the final stage of publishing these proceedings with the 30+ open access e-papers. Thank you for those who contributed to this proceedings. And many of them are actually presenting in this year event as well. So I'm looking forward to the continued discussions about this topic. We are hoping that this proceedings will be published in April. I wanted to finish this before this event today, but it was not possible. So we're going to let you know that when this proceedings is published from last year. But at the same time, we're planning to do another proceedings after this conference this year. And in the summertime this year, we're going to ask you to publish, contribute to your thoughts and the discussion topics of this conference. And again, we hope to publish this with an open access format, so anyone can have a freely access to these discussions and publications. Last year, we also had quite some requests, like what about in-person meetings, right? So the virtual meetings is very good because we can actually invite all of the people from all over the world. But of course, in-person discussions are very important for many reasons. So we have also trying a new format of the adjacent event of the Embodied Intelligence workshop in the context of RoboSoft conference in April. So in 2 weeks' time, we will have an in-person meetings in Edinburgh in UK. And I hope to meet many of you there if you have a chance to go attend this conference. Okay, so I think this was the end of my introduction, and I hope you enjoy this conference. So we have lots of exciting speakers and many sessions with different topics, and I hope Embodied Intelligence concept can actually connect you together for the collaborative, constructive discussions in the next 2.5 days. We're trying to minimize the technical problems, challenges as small as possible. So if you have any problems, just let us know in Zoom chat or send us email or shout out in the Discord. We're trying to help you there. If you have any questions, comments, you're also welcome to post your questions in the chat or Discord, and then we will follow up on this. Okay, very good. Then I think that's the end of my introduction, and I would like to introduce the day 1 program of this Embodied Intelligence conference. We have a very exciting program with the 3 plenary speakers and the 10 panel speakers. All of them are very the leading scientists of the Embodied Intelligence, and we will for sure learn a lot of things from today to the day 1 program already. So we start with a plenary talk by Professor Kenji Doya. And then we have a panel sessions after the coffee break. Then we can have a breakout session before the afternoon session starts. So if you have any questions or problems, once again, I'd like to encourage you to post these questions in the chat or Discord. And otherwise, I think we are all in a good shape to kick off this Embodied Intelligence Conference this year.